The nightmare began when I returned from a grueling 4-day business trip to find my yacht, the Serena, defiled. My wife, Claire, stood rigid on our private dock in Seacrest, her jaw clenched so tightly I thought she'd shatter her teeth. The air reeked of cheap perfume, stale beer, and audacity. Red plastic cups littered the deck, a sticky puddle of what I hoped was cola pooled near the helm, and shards of glass glinted ominously in the fading light. A single, garish fake eyelash clung to the polished wood of the captain's chair like a taunt. I knew exactly who it belonged to: Miranda Stone, the self-crowned queen of our neighborhood homeowners association, and her shadow, her sister Vanessa. They'd hijacked my boat, thrown a party, and live-streamed their triumph while drifting 5 miles offshore, claiming it was just a quick spin. My blood boiled, but a chilling clarity took hold. This wasn't just a prank, it was war. Seacrest was supposed to be our sanctuary, a coastal haven where Claire and I built our dream home. We'd fallen in love with its quiet dunes and shimmering waters, picturing a life of peace with a backyard for a dog we hadn't yet adopted. The Serena, a sleek 70-foot yacht, was my hard-earned escape, named after my fierce, loyal wife. For a year, it was paradise. Then Miranda, a woman who probably starched her napkins and demanded applause for existing, became HOA president. Her sister Vanessa, a desperate echo of Miranda's ego, trailed her like a lapdog. Their reign turned our idol into a battlefield of petty rules and vindictive fines. A $300 beige mailbox mandate funneled to Miranda's cousin's company was just the start. Our neighbor, old Mr. Thompson, got slapped with a $200 fine for storm-damaged shingles he couldn't afford to fix in 48 hours. Claire and I repaired his roof ourselves, but the fine stuck. Miranda patrolled in her golf cart, clipboard in hand, Vanessa smirking beside her, hunting for infractions like hawks. The real feud ignited over my beat-up Chevy Silverado, my contractor's lifeline. Miranda, deeming it an eyesore, banned commercial vehicles from driveways overnight at a secret HOA meeting. My truck didn't fit in our garage, and when I challenged her, her reptilian smile and rules are rules dismissal pushed me over the edge. I called her a petty dictator in front of the board, her cronies nodding like puppets. It felt good, but it made me her prime target. Fines piled up for absurdities, pollen on our porch, a flag flapping too loudly. The Serena was my refuge, docked safely behind a locked gate. Or so I thought. A week after I brought her home, Miranda hit me with a $5,000 waterfront assessment for non-existent aquatic weeds attacks for daring to own something she couldn't control. I fought it, but her board steamrolled me. Then came the fence. I proposed a 6-foot privacy barrier to shield our dock, following every HOA rule. Miranda denied it for aesthetic disharmony, pure spite. Defiant, I built it anyway. Within days, a red, unauthorized construction notice appeared, threatening $1,000 daily fines and a lien on our house. Claire, my rock, urged a lawyer. We hired one, and in mediation, Miranda folded, dropping the fines and approving the fence. But her eyes burned with hatred. She wasn't done. On my trip, Dread gnawed at me. Claire reported Miranda cruising by our house, and our neighbor Jack, a retired joker with binoculars, caught her and Vanessa tampering with our dock's lock. Helpless from hundreds of miles away, I feared the worst. Then Claire called, her voice trembling. They're having a party on the Serena. Music blared, strangers danced, and Vanessa did a topless cannonball, per Jack's gleeful report. The police dismissed it as an HOA misunderstanding, leaving Claire alone against Miranda's arrogance. Jack's photos and videos became my lifeline. When I returned, the yacht was a wreck, wine-stained cushions, shattered glass, and that damned eyelash. Claire braced for my explosion, but instead, I laughed, a low, predatory sound. They thought they'd won. They were wrong. Rage hardened into resolve. I called Ethan Lee, an old Army buddy now with the Coast Guard Investigative Service, probing coastal fraud. I'd mentioned Miranda's antics before. He'd suspected her assessments, and vendor deals reeked of kickbacks. The party was her fatal mistake: trespassing, vandalism, all documented. Ethan saw it as the key to a federal case. My plan crystallized, a peace offering sunset cruise to lure Miranda and Vanessa offshore, where Ethan's team could pounce. Claire, wary of my cold calm, demanded the truth. I laid it out: the cruise, a staged engine failure, Ethan's raid. This wasn't just revenge, it was justice for our bullied neighbors. Her fear gave way to fire. "What do you need me to do?" she asked. I needed her as my alibi, chatting at the community pool, painting me as the gracious host. Jack would watch from shore, his telescope trained on the drama. The cruise day dawned blazing. I polished the Serena, left the stained cushions as a jab, and loosened a fuel line for a believable breakdown. Claire played her role, laughing with neighbors about my generosity. Jack saluted from his porch, telescope ready. At 5 o'clock, Miranda and Vanessa strutted down the dock, Miranda in a ludicrous sun hat, Vanessa in a barely there bikini. Their smugness was palpable as they boarded, critiquing my yacht like appraisers. We sailed 3 miles out, their chatter about lawn ornaments grating. I offered water. They sneered, expecting Chardonnay. Then, showtime. I held up the eyelash in a plastic bag. "This yours, Vanessa?" Their faces froze. "The police and my Coast Guard friend will be curious," I said. Right on cue, the engine sputtered and died. Panic flared in their eyes as I untied the dinghy. "Engine trouble," I shrugged, climbing in. "I'll get help." Tossing a cheap rose onto the deck, I motored away, their screams echoing. "You can't ruin me, Miranda," I called. "You tried. Now I'm ruining you." Half a mile out, I watched them unravel, yelling, pleading, Vanessa sobbing. The sunset blazed, a cruel backdrop to their desperation. Then, a siren wailed. Ethan's Coast Guard cutter roared in, flanked by a sheriff's boat. Ethan, stone-faced, demanded their hands stay visible. Vanessa collapsed, sobbing, while Miranda shrieked about abandonment. Then, the twist. Vanessa, trembling, pointed at Miranda. It was her idea: the party, the kickbacks, the fake books. She spilled everything: hidden ledgers in Miranda's den, a new car bought with HOA funds. Miranda's face drained to ash, her empire crumbling. "You fool," she hissed at Vanessa, a confession in itself. Ethan's team cuffed them, the clink of handcuffs sweeter than any victory. Rain fell, waves churned, and Vanessa skidded across the deck, shrieking. Miranda's final glare promised future battles, but for now, she was done. Back at Seacrest, neighbors gawked as we docked. Ethan's detective, Carter, confirmed Vanessa's confession and a warrant for Miranda's house. As a witness, I joined the grim march to her sterile mansion. In her den, a hollowed-out encyclopedia revealed ledgers detailing years of fraud. Miranda lunged at me, screaming I'd ruined her, but officers restrained her. Her reign was over, exposed before the community she'd terrorized. 6 months later, Miranda was convicted of fraud and embezzlement, sentenced harshly for her remorselessness. Vanessa, for testifying, got probation and fled. The HOA, reborn under Jack's leadership, refunded stolen fees and threw a beach barbecue. Claire and I watched from the restored Serena, her head on my shoulder. Peace, hard won, enveloped us. I'd crossed lines: justice laced with revenge, but it was worth it. For Mr. Thompson, for Seacrest, for us. Sometimes, to protect your own, you fight dirty. And I'd do it again.